Yes guys, welcome back to the Fantasy Football Fix YouTube channel. My name is FPL Nacho, and in this video, I'm going to be revealing the top 3 transfers ahead of Game Week 4. So if you are new around here, make sure you do hit that subscribe button, and if you enjoy what you're seeing, make sure you do smash a like on the video to really share the love. So without further ado guys, let's get started. Okay guys, so there's no other place to start than Spurs' Perisic. A fantastic performance in Game Week 3, getting that assist, the bonus points, and importantly, that game time which we've all been looking for. We know he's a fantastic FPL option, and to get glimpses of what we did in Game Week 3 is making him such a sensational transfer ahead of Game Week 4. So it's worth noting, price rise as we did anticipate over last night. So you can see the kind of stats on the screen here. 17 FPL points so far. Remember, he came on as a sub in Game Week 2 and played in Game Week 3. Expected FPL points 12.29, which is solid underlying stats. Now, from an actual goal getting perspective, 0 goals, 0 expected goals. But again, it's very limited minutes. We've only seen about 110 minutes of Perisic so far in the Premier League. But what I do love to see right now, remember, he is playing as a wing back in this Spurs team. 2 assists and an expected assist of 1.15. Now, interestingly, again, it is such a small sample size, but Perisic is top for expected assists per 90 minutes for players that have played over 90 minutes so far this season. So he is looking fantastic when he does get that game time on the pitch. Worth noting with Perisic, he's taking corners, sharing them with Son, but when Son is off the pitch, Perisic is the designated corner taker, and importantly as well, he is right in and amongst it when set pieces are being delivered, when he isn't taking them, and that was very much clear in that assist that he got in Game Week 3. So Perisic, should we be looking to bring him in? Well, the fixtures here are still very good for Spurs. Nottingham Forest away, followed by West Ham away. Now, the West Ham fixture should be tricky on paper, but the way they're performing right now, no goals so far this season, looks like a decent fixture for Perisic. Now, the big glaring things for Perisic right now is the potential rotation with Ryan Sessegnon. The fixtures are good for Spurs, but we need to remember that Champions League football is on the horizon. And this, mixed in with this fixture run, in particular that Man City game, is going to make the game time for Perisic quite difficult to predict going forward, because we know Conte does trust Ryan Sessegnon in this Spurs team. I think naturally Perisic is the #1 choice, but Ryan Sessegnon is going to be sharing game time. There's no doubt about that over these next 5 game weeks. So is that enough for us not to consider Perisic? I think Perisic falls into that bracket where we need to understand that his FPL ceiling is so high, and we know that we can get hauls from him any day, any place. But I think if you are the sort of manager that is looking to diverge from the template a little bit, he is the ultimate high-risk, high-reward player. We've seen when he gets the game time on the pitch that he is a phenomenal FPL option. And if you are happy to roll with that risk of potentially being benched against, let's say, Fulham at home, then I think he is a worthwhile transfer bringing into your sides. And I do think as well it's worth noting that with a lot of managers looking to potentially shift from their current sort of template teams, maybe dropping a cash cow in the defence like Cancelo or Robertson. Again, I'm not necessarily suggesting this, but down to Perisic, saving yourself 1.5 million, could then upgrade you into other departments. And I know that the forward area is something that a lot of managers are wanting to get invested into. And with the likes of Haaland and Jesus, basically the template front two, having that 1.5 million to maybe upgrade your third forward into someone like a Toney or a Mitrovic could be the way forward. And Perisic could be that entry point in the defence for you. So guys, Perisic for me is definitely one to keep on the watch list, and I think it's a great entry point against Nottingham Forest away as a defender at 5.5 million. So next up guys, let's take a look at a midfielder that has been in outstanding form so far this season. And that man is going to be Crystal Palace's Wilfried Zaha. What an unbelievable season he's had so far. You can see here on the FPL points, 21 FPL points, but look at the expected FPL points, 24.6. Whenever you have a player like this that is delivering and his underlying stats are not only matching it but actually exceeding it, you know that this is going to be a player that could continue in the vein of form that he's in. 3 goals and an expected goals of 2.52. Now, worth noting, expected goals here are taking into account the penalty that he has had, but don't look at that as a negative. Yes, that might skew his expected goals a little bit because he's had 2 fantastic finishes against both Liverpool and against Aston Villa. So again, those weren't from necessarily high XG opportunities. But for 7 million for a player that has penalties and is a talisman in that side, I think this is unbelievable value for Wilfried Zaha. Now, you can see with the fixtures here, game week 4 isn't necessarily the best entry point with Man City away. But after that, Brentford at home, Newcastle away, Man United at home, and Brighton away. I think they are trickier than they actually do seem. I think in particular, Newcastle and Brighton away are very difficult. But interestingly, with the Man City game away, yes, it isn't the best time to bring in a player with a game at the Etihad, but we saw what Newcastle done against this Man City team, in particular Saint-Maximin, and Zaha is very much the same sort of ilk of player. And what I do really like to see is the way that Zaha is currently scoring a lot of his goals is in transitional periods. You saw that against Aston Villa and we saw that against Liverpool, them being so direct with their transitions, getting him through and attacking those two centre-backs. And I can envisage a similar goal against Man City in game week 4. Now, that isn't to say Crystal Palace are going to win this game, but I do think there is going to be opportunities for Wilfried Zaha to really impact that Man City defence. We saw Kyle Walker in all sorts of trouble against Saint-Maximin. Now, predicted points-wise, 18.4 predicted points over the next 5 fixtures, which is right up there for midfielders at that price point. So if you are looking for a player to hold between now and game week 8, then I think Wilfried Zaha needs to be right up there on the top of our list. Now look, should we be looking to bring him in ahead of game week 4? Yes, the fixture is difficult, and I think the price point makes him a difficult transfer for managers. But if you're currently sat there, let's say, with Saka at 8 million, and you are fed up of him, and you're not necessarily seeing the other options at 8 million bracket being attractive, I honestly think if you need to free up some funds, you have 2 free transfers available, coming down to Wilfried Zaha for the long term up until game week 8 could be a fantastic move for your team. So guys, do not rule out Wilfried Zaha ahead of game week 4. I still think that he is a viable transfer going forward if you view it as a longer term move. But let me know in the comments, guys, what your thoughts are on Wilfried Zaha. I think the fact that he's a talisman and importantly Crystal Palace are playing very well makes him a viable option in any game week. So guys, last up we're going to be looking at the third player ahead of game week 4 that I think is worth considering as our top transfer. Now, that man is going to be Ivan Toney. He had a fantastic game against Fulham, it is worth noting, even though he was at the wrong end of a 3-2 loss. But he was a menace against them, having a goal ruled out for offside and importantly picking up a goal as well. He did the Mitrovic celebration for those that didn't see it. So, worth noting that managers right now in FPL are seeing the value of forwards. We've seen it in Toney, we're seeing it in Mitrovic, we're seeing it in other assets. Brennan Johnson, for example, his goal against Everton. And I think naturally a lot of managers started off with big at the back or a flexible 4-4-2 formation. But we've seen with our underlying data at Fantasy Football Fix that the formation is starting to shift. And managers are now opting furthermore for a 3-4-3 formation or a 4-3-3 formation. So the 3 up front is definitely on the cards now, guys. And I think Toney is the man to target right now if you are looking for a forward below the price of Gabriel Jesus, for example. I think he is better than Mitrovic. It is worth noting the fixtures are fantastic for Brentford going forward. You can see them on the screen there. Nottingham Forest away, West Ham away, followed by Leeds at home. Brilliant fixtures for Toney. Now, looking at the underlying stats, 20.28 expected FPL points is very good considering he has already delivered 25 FPL points and his 2 goals with an expected goals of 1.39. Again, that is confident reading there. And what I really do like as well, similar to Wilfried Zaha, is that he is the talisman in this team and of course on penalties. We've spoken about the likes of Perisic having Champions League football to contend with. The likes of Toney, the likes of Wilfried Zaha are fully focused on the Premier League and having their best ever finish. And that's why I really do think that players at this price bracket who are talisman in their teams are going to become even more popular as the game weeks roll in when we are competing with these cup competitions that all the European teams have. Now, I'm going to make an audacious claim here. Haaland down to Toney isn't the most ridiculous move that could be deliberated in FPL. Now, yes, of course, I am anticipating Haaland to outscore Toney over the next 5 game weeks. However, it is worth noting that based on predicted points, he is predicted to score 23.4 points over the next 5 game weeks, which is the 4th best. Only Kane, Jesus and Haaland are predicted to score more. And it's worth noting he's considerably higher than any other player at his price point. So, The reason why I think Haaland down to Toney could be a foreseeable move for some managers down the line, and it's because of the game time. We know exactly what we're getting with Toney in terms of that guaranteed game time. And moving your forward line to potentially a front three of Gabriel Jesus, Toney, and maybe even a Mitrovic could then allow you to spread the funds elsewhere into your team to the midfield areas, to go for maybe a double up in Salah and Kevin De Bruyne, or to go for the big it back strategy. Now, again, I'm not saying managers to do this move, but I am saying that Toney is definitely on the cards to go for either the Haaland, Jesus, Toney route, or have Jesus as your premium and have Toney alongside Gabriel Jesus. So let me know in the comments, guys, what your thoughts are on that potential move. It's worth noting, Brentford with the third best fixtures till game week 8, and Toney having 6 shots so far, 6 of those in the box. I'm seeing great things from Toney. I'm seeing great things from Brentford as well. And that is why I think Toney should be right up there on our considerations for game week 4 transfers and beyond. So let me know in the comments, guys, what your thoughts are. So that's going to wrap up the video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope it has brought some value and some food for thought going into game week 4. I really do think there are some fantastic options that we need to consider that are now starting to make the template break, which is always exciting in FPL. So as always, guys, make sure you do hit the subscribe button if you did enjoy it, and drop a like if you enjoyed the video. We have daily content dropping, so hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Cheers.